about to give you the best piece, excuse me, of content marketing advice that you're going to hear today. Yes, I know, it's exciting. And I'm telling you, this advice is going to totally simplify your life. And here it is. Are you ready for it? Pens, papers, iPads, notebooks out? Okay. I am telling you that if you want to be successful in content marketing, to get rid of your marketing department. Okay? All right, okay, well, before you guys start throwing rotten fruit at me, I promise I'm going to explain this. But first, there is actually one more thing that you should know about me. And I am a total content nerd. I mean, really. I've been writing since I could hold a pen, literally. My degree was in journalism, and my professional background is as a marketing advertising copywriter. And now with Divvy HQ, I am pretty much obsessed with helping my customers use content to build relationships with their customers. So that's actually what we're going to talk about today. But more specifically, we're going to talk about the content planning and production process. If we marketers want to be successful in content marketing, there are four things that we need to do. Get a content strategy. We need to give our marketing department the boot. I promise I'm going to explain that. We need to adopt a process that creates sustainability. And then the fourth thing is using the right tools. If you don't already have a content strategy for your business, get one fast. I mean, like today. Before you even sit down to write or to do anything, you need a content strategy. So I'm going to show you the absolute simplest content strategy on earth, okay? You answer these 4 questions, and you're going to have a content strategy, okay? Here's the first one. Who is your audience? Who are you talking to? And really think about them. And you might develop yourself a few personas so that you can really understand who you're talking to. It might be 3 different personas. Give them a face, give them a name, give them a story, but get to know your audience, okay? So who's your audience? That's number 1. Number 2, what are you going to say to your audience that matters to them, okay? So this is where we come up with things like theme, of our area of expertise, the things that we're going to say that we're actually very knowledgeable at. And so themes, topics, campaigns, that's where these are going to come in. Okay, so what are you going to say? Third thing, where are you going to say it? Okay, so we figure out where our audience is actually doing the listening. So where is it that our audience is absorbing the content that you have to provide? So where are they already? So figure that out. Find out where they're already listening for your type of content, and then put your stuff there. Okay? And then also this covers what kind of content you're going to produce. So is it going to be blog? Is it going to be email? Is it going to be podcast even? Video, etc. So figure out where they are, and then that's going to kind of drive the decision of what kind of content that you're going to create. Okay, next. How often are you going to say it? So you develop this, where are you going to say it, and then figure out what the frequency is of how often you're going to say this. So if you're deciding that a blog is where you're going to be producing content, how often are you going to blog? What's your audience going to appreciate in terms of frequency? Okay? And then lastly, is it working? And this is where we go back to analytics. We're going to review the analytics on the content that you've already produced. Do people like it? Are they commenting on it? Are they retweeting it? Are they interacting with it? And so is it doing a good job? Are you accomplishing what you set out to do with your content? Okay, so there it is. You answer these, I guess there's 5. 5 questions, and you've got a content strategy. And literally, you can do it in an afternoon, And it may look simple, but if you don't already have a content strategy, this is going to be all you need to do to get started. Okay? All right, so now we've talked about getting a content strategy. So the next thing we need to do to succeed in content marketing, okay, so here's where I'm going to explain my opening comment about giving your marketing department the boot. And I don't mean literally to go into your marketing department and start firing people. Well, unless you need to. But what I mean by that is I mean that we now know we need to be in a content marketing mindset, right? A publisher mindset. We're all in the mindset. Everyone here is in the mindset. So that's great, but that is only the very, very first step in developing an actual content marketing initiative. The very next thing we have to do outside of assuming the publisher mindset is we need to start looking like a publisher. And that means that our marketing departments need to be structured differently. Our marketing teams need to look differently from the inside out. Okay? So how many of you have journalism degrees? Raise your hand. Yay! Okay, good. That's a lot of people. So for a second, I'm going to take you back to Journalism 101. And I'm going to show you what the inside of a newspaper organization looks like. So let's take a look really quick at what an actual publishing organization looks like. Okay, so here you go. We start up here at the top with the publisher/editor. This person is in charge of all of the content that is going to go out into a publication. So they oversee everything. And they also are responsible for any of the financial aspects of the publication. They make sure that the publication is financially healthy. And then you've got the managing editor. The managing editor, their job is to oversee the content production process. And they're the ones who are going to accept the story ideas. They're going to be the ones who are assigning those story ideas out to the different staff members. They're also going to be the ones following up on all the deadlines and making sure that that publication goes out when it's supposed to. And then next you have section editors. So section editors are those editors in charge of, say, the business page, the lifestyle section, or the music section. So you've got these different sections of a newspaper, all the different sections that pull out, and you've got section editors that oversee those. So even smaller sections within a newspaper, those all have editors above them. And then you've got, so right here over there, content producers and reporters. These are the doers of the company. These are the writers and reporters who are digging up the story angles. They're pitching the stories to their editors. They are digging up the facts. They are interviewing the resources or the sources, and they're the ones writing the stories that we see in the newspaper. Okay? And then you've got photo editors and that should say photographers, sorry. Photo editors and photographers. So these are the ones deciding what imagery is going to go with which story for the most impact. So they're the ones sort of crafting the imagery that goes along with the story, which is an important part of a newspaper. Then you've got next the copy editor. These people are trained. They've got the red pen, and these people are trained to find typos, to find errors in grammar and style. They make the headlines stronger, even. And these are the people who maybe do some of the fact checking. A very important step. So at the very end, last but absolutely not least, the graphic artists. And the graphics team in a newspaper, they're the ones who take all of the content that everyone has produced and put it into a final layout that will be ready for the press. So it's a very important step. Okay, so I wanted to show everybody this because, maybe we're not familiar with what the inside of an actual publishing company looks like. And if we, as marketers, are going to start adapting our teams to look more like this, I thought, okay, so what is that going to look like for you? What's your organization going to look like now? So I have a few examples, and every company is going to look different. But here is how you might be able to adapt this publisher organization to your company, okay? So we start at the top. If you have a big company, you're probably going to have a chief content officer now, which is awesome. They're going to be the ones overseeing all of the content that is going to go out everywhere. So they're going to be the ones totally overseeing your publication and all the content that's going to go in it. And that could be a consultant too. If you're not a big company, that could be one of your consultants that's helping you decide what you're going to put where and how often, etc. Next, we get down to the content owners and the subject matter experts. So these are the people who are going to be those people that you go to get the information that you need to get the stories written. So these are going to be sort of those resources that you're going to be interviewing and getting the facts from so that you can actually write the stories that matter to your customers and clients. Okay, so then you have to have an editor. You have to have an editor on your team. You have to have someone that is in charge of assigning out the content items and following up on deadlines. And this person has to be in your organization in some form. And so in your current marketing department, this could be, your editor could be the marketing communications manager, PR manager, or a marketing coordinator, depending on how large your organization is. And then you've got all your marketing or all of your editorial team at the bottom. These are the people who are going to write, photograph, do the graphics, do the proofing, and create the video. Okay, so let's look at a small business. So this is what it might look like in your organization where you don't have the people that a corporation has or a newspaper has. So this is what it might look like for you. Your editor could maybe be your CEO or the owner of your company, the person who is just going to oversee and make sure that oversee the content. And maybe you're here today and you're trying to learn how to do that a lot better. And then also in a small business, you will still have those department heads. You'll still have the sales team. Maybe you'll have, maybe the CEO and owner is one of your sources that you use on a frequent basis. Customer service or even your field staff. If you have a construction company, that could be your field electricians, or who knows what that might be, where you might go within your own company to find that subject matter expertise. And then you've got your creative and your writing, which for a small business, you can totally outsource that if you need to, but because you've started with all of the information that you need. Okay, so at an agency, so if you run an agency and you have clients that you service, so at the top of your publication, you could have your agency head, the person who's in charge and oversees all of the clients in your agency. And then maybe your managing editor is your senior account executive who is in charge of that one client and making sure that all the content that's put together for that client is relevant, and they're probably also going to be that go-between. And here we've included the clients in this process because they're our subject matter experts. They're going to be the ones that we go to for the information that we need to get this content written. So they are included in this process. And then we have our editor. We always have our editor, the person who's going to be the one assigning the content to the right people and making sure it gets done and making sure that your publication goes out as you've promised it. We are now looking more like a publishing company, so now it's time to start acting like more of a publishing company. So let's adopt a process that we can use to create sustainable publication, okay? Okay, so this is where your editorial calendar comes in. So your process for getting content from people's heads to your editorial calendar might look different. But for us, the way that we do it is that we sit in a room and brainstorm at least 6 months worth of content at a time. I mean, we just churn out ideas, no ideas off limits. Let's just get all the ideas out of our heads into our editorial calendar. Because if it's not on this calendar, it does not get done for us. And this is really ours. So I hope we didn't leak any sensitive information. But this is really our editorial calendar. And so this is the process where you're going to sit in the room, you've got all your content ideas, and you put them here until you can, and you can assign them out to the right people and then follow up with them and make sure that everything is getting done. And if that's not on paper, it's not going to happen. Okay, so after you've done that, so you've brainstormed and you've got 6 months worth of content ideas, well, you're not done. So with this, by creating a sustainable process, you're going to have to get more involved in it. And so this is going to be, we suggest to our customers that you hold a mandatory editorial staff meeting where you bring all of your editorial staff members into the room and you discuss, what do we have coming out this week? Who's doing what? Okay? What status is the article that you're working on? Okay? Do you have the photograph for that? All right? No? Okay, go shoot it. Okay, have you done your part of the social media for this? No? Okay. So, and then you establish who's doing what. You follow up on the deadlines, follow up on statuses, and then everybody goes back to work. So, and these meetings do not have to be long meetings at all. Oh, and this is also a good opportunity to brainstorm more ideas because your 6 months worth of content, that seems like a really long time, right? Is not. It's going to go by very quickly, and you always need to be keeping new content ideas in the pipeline so that people always have stuff to work off of. And this happens to us all the time. So we'll develop our 6-month editorial calendar, and I'll just show you kind of a screenshot of what. So this is going to tell us what we have going on this week. I think we're already late on some stuff. But, the goal here is to keep things in your pipeline because sometimes the stuff that you planned out that's 6 months down the road, it's not timely anymore. And maybe you decide to just take it off or you need to, restructure it in some fashion. So anyway, you always want to keep new ideas coming into your pipeline so that you have really good stuff to talk about. And that creates that sustainability. Okay, so this is another shot of just that, so I know that we're running out of time here. So, okay, this is a process that we use, that we put together to help us act more like a publisher. Okay, so we've gone around and we've assigned everything out to the writers. So that's where this starts. The managing editor has made all the assignments, has given everything out. Everyone knows what they're doing. Everybody knows their deadlines. So we assign it to a writer. The writer works on it, or the videographer, or the photographer, whatever piece of content you're working on, podcaster, whatever. So we assign that to the writer, and they get it done. They hand it off to their editor. So the editor reviews it, and then if it's good, they would send that on to their editor, to the person overseeing. This could be the client in our organizational scenario. In a lot of cases, it will be. And this could be your owner. That would be another level of review that you would have. So after the reviewing happens, and then the revising, so this is kind of circular, and your pieces of content should be going through a couple rounds of revision, then we're going to work on finalizing our proof. So this means that we're going to send it to the copy editor to make the headline better. Maybe there's someone in your organization who's just a really got one-liners all the time. So send it to that person and have them look at the headline. And then we're gonna be proofing it for any errors or typos or grammar or structure and brand and legal, if that's something that you have to worry about. And then also figuring out what images that you want to go with it, because that's really important. And then the layout of it. And so this is where we finalize it. We get it ready for publishing. So that's the next step in this, is we send it out. We put it out where we decided it was going to go, because we already did our strategy, and we know who's doing what, we know when it's going to happen and how often, so we publish this. And then we're not done. So then we have to turn around and say, okay, we've published it here, now let's go tell everyone about it so that they come and see it. So then we have to do the promotion part of it. Okay, so this is the process that we use, and I know what you're going to say. you're going to say, Jayme, surely not every email newsletter, not every blog post, not every tweet, status update, podcast, whatever. Surely not all of it has to go through this rigorous process, right? I mean, surely you don't have to send an email through 2 rounds of revisions before it gets to the client so that they can approve it and you can send it out. I mean, how are you going to get anything done, right? Because of this process. Well, I would argue that this seemingly over-the-top process is the reason why newspapers are able to churn out a newspaper every single day, hell or high water. So this process works, and it will work for your team too if you just start making it a habit, because this is very efficient once you get everything down and every person knowing exactly what their role is in this process, okay? Okay, so the last thing I'm going to leave you with, use the right tools. And sometimes the tools themselves can be totally crippling. The tools can become the bottleneck in your content marketing effort, and that is not what we want, right? Okay, so I put a few together here, and these are the ones that we use. We used to use spreadsheets for our editorial calendars, and everyone in this room knows that using that spreadsheets were really built for managing money, not content marketing initiatives. So, and for years we struggled with this, and so that's why we built Divvy HQ. And that's Divvy HQ is the simple way to organize your editorial calendar, get everyone on the same page, organize your team, and get the content done, because that's really what we're trying to do. So Divvy HQ for editorial calendar. Inbound Writer is another great example of a company who is helping us do our job better. You can optimize every single piece of content before it goes out, and I suggest that you do. Okay, Hootsuite is awesome if you have multiple social media accounts that you're trying to manage. I know we do. We have several different social media accounts, and so Hootsuite organizes all of that for us, and we're able to then just go in and do one update, and boop, it's gone. It's to everybody and all of our accounts. WordPress is a really powerful blogging platform and CMS system that we pretty much use religiously for all of our stuff. And then MailChimp. MailChimp is our favorite, not only because they send us t-shirts occasionally, but because it is a really, really easy email marketing tool. I mean easy. So that's what we use. We use these tools to create a sustainable, very fluid process. And none of these tools get in our way, which is what you don't want your tools to do, right? Okay. So that's what I'm going to leave you with today. So we have figured out what our process or what our strategy is, right? We figured out what our strategy is. Then we figured out that we need to start not only just getting into the mindset of a publisher, but we need to start getting our organizations to look more like a publisher by reorganizing our team and getting a better structure for that, and then also acting more like a publisher by getting a process that may look over the top but is highly efficient, and then also using the right tools to just get it done and not get in the way. And with that, thank you very much.